welcome to the Glowing Skin series. I'm Christine Ho, and today I have Paul Barattiero. He is an industry expert in hydrogen and water and founded Synergy Science and Echo H2 Water. So welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Christine.
Oh yes, of course. So please tell us your own personal story.
So my story goes back years ago when my wife, Jacqueline, she was suffering from a number of issues. Some were gynecological, thyroid issues, different issues that were going on. At the time, I was treating patients with diabetes, foot and ankle conditions. And so I was very sad to watch her every month be in bed for a week and have anemia and all kinds of different issues. And so I was searching for a way to help her. Any good husband would, right? If your wife is not feeling well, you want to do everything you can to help them. And so I was really doing some research and came across water and a technology that was being talked about at the time. And this was 15 years ago, but it was being talked about as having healing properties. And so we know water is healing from a hydration perspective. And of course we can bathe with it. It's used for purification, but I never thought of it from a anatomy or chemistry perspective to really change pathology. So it was a new concept for me. And as I did more and more research, I was amazed at the things I was seeing with diabetes in particular and cancer and some different things of this nature. And so I wanted to do more and more research. And so to fast forward 6 months later, after utilizing technology to produce a water with molecular hydrogen in it, my wife was able to have her menstrual cycles normalized and other issues that were going on. So of course I looked at that and was like, whoa, what the heck is going on? And so once I understood that, I started giving some of the water to the individuals with diabetes, and I started seeing a significant change in them within 3 to 5 days, sometimes a couple weeks, where the blood glucose levels were normalized. And so this, of course, was like, what is going on? How can water do this? And it isn't the water, it's the molecular hydrogen gas that is in the water. That's what's doing all the amazing benefits, and that's what I was able to discover and come to understand.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, electrolysis has been around since 1800, right? Dr. Anthony Carlisle developed it to become a hydrogen generator. Well, the whole purpose of hydrogen is to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the body, which is significant. When we can reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the body, we have now helped over 170 human disease models in the body, because most all disease comes from oxidative stress and inflammation.
Oh yes. So how did you discover about the molecular hydrogen and the amazing benefits that it can do for your wife and for so many other people?
Yeah, so I was again researching and listening to some other people that I knew, and they knew my wife had issues, and they were saying, hey, you might want to try this, you might want to try that. And everybody has things that they want to help, right? So as I was studying, it was really difficult 15 years ago. Now we have over 700 studies showing the effectiveness of molecular hydrogen on, over 170 human disease models. But back then, there were hardly any studies to find. I just had a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, a lot of plugging into intuition and trying to understand what was going on. There were some studies out there, and there was one study that particularly talked about dissolved hydrogen and the ability to be a scavenger of reactive oxygen species. And so this was a huge, huge thing. And what caught my eye was the dissolved hydrogen aspect of it, that everyone at that time was talking about alkaline water and how alkaline water was amazing for you and all these things. And I didn't agree from a foundational perspective that simply changing the pH of water could actually do much for the body. What I was really accepting was the fact that hydrogen could affect body chemistry. That I understood, because we know oxygen is an oxidizer, hydrogen is a reducer. I understood that very well. And if we really look at the way the body is designed to function, our intestinal tract is a hydrogen generator. If we really are eating the proper foods with fiber in them, or short chain fatty acids, medium chain fatty acids, And if we have the right bacteria strains in our gut, then we can produce 10 to 12 liters per day of hydrogen gas that go through the intestinal tract into the body and lower systemic inflammation and oxidative stress in the body. So this is the way the body was designed to work. The problem is we have so much gut damage. We have so many issues with our intestinal tract and dysfunction and not having our gut function, our intestinal tract function correctly because of all kinds of reasons. But not having it function is significant because our entire immune system is suppressed at that point. 70% of our immune system is housed in the intestinal tract. And so there are many issues that happen when the GI is not functioning correctly. And we need to understand that it has far-reaching effects in the body. So getting hydrogen back into the intestinal tract, restoring hydrogen there, it also restores the biome, what's called the microbiome, so that we can start producing the proper bacteria and we can start recovering from food allergies and from all kinds of issues. And part of that is going into the cells of the body and changing the reactive oxygen species. And this is particularly beneficial for skin, where we have oxidative stress on our skin because of UV rays, sunburn, all kinds of issues that we suffer on a daily basis, wind, not having proper hydration. These are some of the serious issues that people face. We know that 54.5% of the population are chronically dehydrated. So therefore, skin is going to suffer everything. Elimination is going to suffer. And if we're not properly hydrated, then we can't eliminate toxins out of the body correctly. And then our skin becomes the last-ditch effort of our body to eliminate toxins, which then we have psoriasis and eczema and all kinds of issues. So it all kind of lends itself together when the body is not functioning correctly, and hydrogen can help with all of those systems.
Oh yes, that is amazing, and that is definitely something that I believe is going to be very beneficial for everyone.
Yes.
To learn and to know, especially.
Yeah.
So yes, how did you end up creating Synergy Science and Echo H2 Water?
Well, when I was working with the diabetic patients, I was working to prevent limb amputations. So I was working to have the patients keep their toes and their feet and legs. Well, when I came to understand that hydrogen can actually affect the disease itself and lower blood glucose levels, I was extremely excited because I'm the kind of person, I want to prevent pathology. I don't want to just put a Band-Aid on something. I really want to help people get back to where they can be healthy, living a beautiful life and not have blood sugar issues, not have, microvascular, macrovascular issues, eye damage, all these things that occur to these individuals that have diabetes mellitus. And so I was very excited when I started reading studies and understanding that we could have lipid and glucose metabolism changes, or in other words, we can change glucose levels in the body by simply getting hydrogen into a patient with diabetes. We can actually help them to not have glucose issues. We can change lipid and glucose metabolism and LDL, cholesterol, all kinds of different things can change. And I was very passionate about preventing pathology damage versus having just helping them keep their toes. So once I got involved, that was the initial impetus on my part, was to help the patients that I was working with. But then once I began understanding all the studies that were coming out and the fact that hydrogen is a selective antioxidant, only reaching and reacting with the hydroxyl radicals, for instance, the worst, most cell damaging radicals in our body, and converting them into a water molecule in the cells, it was just so significant. And every year I get more and more and more passionate about the benefits and helping people have gut recovery, people, helping their skin, their joints, their intellect, their cognitive function, so many different things we can help people with neurologic issues. So
yeah, no, that is amazing. And the fact that it can do so much to help so many people, that is definitely something that is wonderful to learn about.
for sure. Yeah.
Yes. So, how exactly does hydrogen-enriched water work?
Hydrogen-enriched water. So the machine that I developed, it uses electrolysis. So effectively, water molecules are H2O, right? So you have two hydrogens and an oxygen. So through electrolysis, we are separating the hydrogen and oxygen back into a gas, and so they're no longer liquid. Now, we're only separating a small percentage of water molecules back into gas form, and what we want to do is dissolve the H2 from the H2O. And so the H2 is what's called molecular hydrogen. When molecular hydrogen gets into the body, it goes everywhere: joints, brain, blood, into the actual cells themselves to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation. It goes into the stomach and increases cognitive function through ghrelin secretions. All these different things that are accomplished are tremendous. And so the way that functions, for instance, a hydroxyl radical, I talked about that earlier. A hydroxyl radical is the most cell-damaging free radical in the body. And all it is a hydrogen and an oxygen. So what happens in the mitochondria, when our mitochondria in our cells produce ATP, or energy, by converting oxygen, we end up with HO, what's called a hydrogen and an oxygen, and we call it a hydroxyl radical. So when we give the body additional hydrogen, what happens? You have an HO, we're adding another H, now you're creating H2O. And so instead of having a horrible free radical that is damaging cell function, we now would have water molecules, far better for the body from a hydration perspective, from a detoxification, everything. So that's really one of the simple ways in which molecular hydrogen benefits the body, is to convert the worst free radical, most damaging free radical in the body, into water molecules in the cells of the body themselves. And that's where skin is benefited. That's where every organ, every every cell in the body is benefited everywhere. And that's the huge benefits from hydrogen. Now we can increase, cognitive function when we have ghrelin secretions that go to the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, and the brainstem to increase cognitive function. There are so many different things that are going on in the body with hydrogen, and every month almost we have new studies coming out. Only since 2008 we had one main study that Nature Medicine published on the selective antioxidant nature of molecular hydrogen, and since then we have 700 studies. More and more and more coming out every day. There are studies on skin that are very beautiful as well, which is obviously good. We're talking about skin today.
Oh yes, absolutely. And that is definitely something that is great to learn, because of the fact that it has so many amazing benefits for the skin as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so please, let's go into more details about how it helps the skin.
Sure. The studies that we have, there's multiple studies, but the three that I think are amazing have to do with sunburns, have to do with psoriasis-induced arthritis condition, and also wrinkles. So we can talk about it from a serious issue first, being the psoriasis or eczema that induces arthritis. That's a very, very unfortunate situation. But again, it comes down to oxidative stress and hydrogen's ability to change the function so that psoriasis doesn't exist, eczema doesn't exist, and therefore the arthritis doesn't as well. And for that matter, we have studies on rheumatoid arthritis as well being helped with hydrogen. Now, going to wrinkles, which is more of a cosmetic thing, right? We know that wrinkles are caused sometimes by chronic dehydration. If people aren't drinking enough water, they have wrinkles. And so that just getting the right water, which we can help them with, just getting the right water that can actually hydrate them is good. But what we found in the study is that hydrogen itself was able to synthesize twice the amount of collagen-1 in the skin cells of the body, than would normal water. So having the hydrogen, the molecular hydrogen, in the water that you're drinking, which is what the machine that I developed does, after it filters the water of all the chemicals and toxins and metals and pharmaceuticals, it then puts the hydrogen gas into the water. Once you drink it and also put it on your skin, you can synthesize twice the amount of collagen-1 in the body, which is huge from wrinkle perspective and from the glow and the shine and everything having to do with the elasticity of the skin and all those aspects. So huge benefits when it comes. Now, just drinking the water, they're going to notice a difference in a very short time of the way their skin looks and feels. But then also putting it topically on their skin is hugely beneficial.
Oh, yes, of course.
Mhm.
So, yeah, please go into more about how hydrogen-induced water actually helps a lot with, oxidative stress and inflammation.
Sure, sure. So inflammation is a big one. A lot of people walking around have inflammation, and it's pretty obvious in many people that they have inflammation because a lot of it has to do with the fact that their elimination pathways in their body are not functioning. Either the pancreatic system, the kidneys, the pancreas, gallbladder, there are issues going on, and their ability to get toxins out of the body are greatly diminished. So the water helps with that, but particularly the hydrogen can get into the liver, into the kidneys, into the pancreas, into the gallbladder, and can lower inflammation and start detoxifying the body and helping tremendously with inflammation reduction. All inflammation comes from oxidative stress, and the most, again, cell damaging or the worst bad guy in the body creating oxidative stress is hydroxyl radicals. And so we're literally converting hydroxyl radicals into water by adding hydrogen gas into the body. And so not only are we helping them hydrate, but we're going to convert the worst radical into the body into water, so it hydrates them even more. And so that's tremendously beneficial. So many people that have kidney issues, liver issues, whether it's parasite driven or not, it's tremendously helpful for them to have that inflammation reduced, because then those organs start functioning. The problem with inflammation is that the organ that is suffering from inflammation doesn't efficiently function, and the cells that are inflamed don't function, and that's the problem with inflammation. So lowering inflammation will enable the cells to function appropriately. And once you get rid of hydroxyl radicals and the inflammatory cytokines that are in there that are causing all the problems, typically you can have the body automatically, naturally produce glutathione. Once you offload the burden with the hydrogen, then the glutathione comes into the skin cells and any cell for that matter in the body, and will clean up and repair. So whether it's UVA rays, from sun, the UV rays can tremendously be helped. There was another study on sunburn where literally putting this water on a sunburn was significantly beneficial for those individuals that had sunburn, and drinking the water at the same time was hugely beneficial. But inflammation is a major issue in the medical community and can get to the point where it's significant medical challenges from lymphedema and other issues in the lower leg and what have you of the body. So we don't want to have inflammation. We want to get rid of inflammation, and we want to help everybody look as beautiful as they can. So all at the same time, we can increase beauty, we can increase mobility and help people walk around and live the life that they want to live and not have inflammation, which is very, very cell damaging and life limiting.
Oh, yes, of course. And that is a huge, tremendous medical achievement that you've made.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Many of the machines on the market that produce alkaline water, they won't produce hydrogen. And so people do need to understand the difference. This is hydrogen enriched water, and we're in many cases not even changing the pH. We're keeping the pH 7, which is actually good for the skin. You have an acid mantle on the skin that protects you from outside invaders. And we don't want to put alkaline water on our skin. We would never want to do that because that's going to change negatively the pH of the skin. We need the skin to be acid. We need the acid mantle to be intact so that it protects us from outside intrusion. Anytime, that we put anything on the skin, we want to have a pH balanced substance, whatever it is. So also drinking water, the same is true for drinking. When we drink water, we want to have something that's a neutral pH. We don't want to have high pH drinking water because that can throw off our stomach. It can throw off our body. There's a lot of misinformation out there about alkaline everything. And the truth is, there's not a single vegetable that's alkaline. And even though it's being taught that way, every vegetable or fruit is all acid below 7 pH. So it really comes down to not the pH of the fruit or the vegetable itself. It's not the pH of the water. It's what the effect is going to be on the body when it gets inside. And for instance, we're not going to change blood pH. We can't affect that very much because the range is so narrow, 7.35 to 7.45. But what we can do is we can drink water, we can be properly hydrated so that our immune system is boosted, because level of hydration is almost directly related to our metabolic rate, or our energy levels, and our immune system. So water is important for us to have, and so many people have replaced drinking water with other things because they don't trust the water that's coming to their home, or they don't like the taste of it, or what have you. Well, the thing that we've done is I created a system that filters out all the toxins, all the metals, the pesticides, the pharmaceuticals, blood pressure medications, all these kind of things that are in water. We get rid of those so that the water tastes amazing, and then we put hydrogen into it so it's light and airy, and when people drink it, they'll feel an energy boost, they'll feel amazing, and within a few days they'll see differences in their skin tones, in their eyes, in the clarity of their mind, in the function of their gut. We have so many people that are allergic to gluten and dairy, for instance, and once they have our water for a couple of weeks, they can eat gluten and dairy again. So that's simply because you're restoring gut function. We should not have all of the food allergies that we have. If people's intestinal tract was intact and functioning correctly with the right E. coli strains, we wouldn't have these issues. But because we have so much gut damage, and because we have all the things Robert Scott Bell talks about, then this is the real problem, is the epithelial lining of the intestinal tract has been damaged, and we need to restore the biome. We need to restore the habitat for the good bacteria, and that is something that hydrogen also does. Hydrogen will get into the gut and create a new home, and it will stimulate anaerobic microflora rapidly into the gut so that we can start to have good bacteria, proper fermentation, which is going to have huge benefits on elimination of toxins of the body. So we're really hitting the body all at once with hydration, with detoxification, with lowering of inflammation, and reactive oxygen species in the body. All of these things are happening all at once. We're increasing brain function, we're increasing energy levels. There's just so many things that we are doing. And what we need to really understand, Christine, is that I didn't create hydrogen. Hydrogen has been around for a very long time. And the body, the creator of our body, created a hydrogen generator in the gut. And we started talking about this, and this is a good thing to make sure people understand. You are supposed to have hydrogen in your body every day, every time you have a meal, and that fermentation process that occurs in the gut should result in hydrogen gas. The reality is, because of gut damage, we don't have the same production, and because of diet changes and all the antibiotic overuse and pesticide and genetically modified foods that are damaging the gut, all these things that can really harm gut function, is why we're not naturally able to have our antioxidant systems that the Creator gave us. The reason they're not working correctly is because our gut is under attack. And I believe it's because our immune system is under attack, because 70%, again, we said earlier, 70% of the immune system is housed in the gut. And so if we don't have the gut functioning, we don't have a proper immune system, and we're left in a little bit susceptible to a lot of different things. And that includes skin issues. People need to understand that if you're having visible issues with skin, it's because the body doesn't have its other faculties to move toxins throughout the system. And skin is the largest organ, but it's the last ditch effort for the body to get rid of toxins. And if we clear the pathway for toxins to be eliminated appropriately through the appropriate elimination pathways that were set up in the body, we won't have unsightly skin. We won't have all these things because we'll be moving the toxins out of the body correctly. We'll have good energy. We'll have good organs functioning the way they're supposed to, and we'll have good quality skin. And I think this is what everybody wants.
Oh, yes, of course. So can you actually explain how, sorry, just trying to put that out of my face there. So can you explain how some of the hydrogen-enriched water, like whether or not you're drinking it or if you're showering with it or what have you, how it actually helps the many different skin conditions that are out there, which of course, like you mentioned before, helps with, sunburn and wrinkles and psoriasis, among many others.
Absolutely. So a lot of people with psoriasis and eczema, they will put it directly onto the skin, and you can use a spray bottle. You can fill up a spray bottle right out of our machine and just spray it right onto the skin. You can also take it right out of the machine and put it in a bowl and submerge your arm in it if you want to absorb more. There's a lot of things that you can do from a delivery system to get it into the body. But what's the most important is drinking it. While you're doing these other things, we need to make sure that we are drinking the water with hydrogen, because just because they're skin cells doesn't mean that hydrogen won't get to them when we drink it. Hydrogen is the smallest molecule, right? It's number 1 on the periodic table because it's so tiny. And it can go anywhere in the body. If we drink it, it's going to go in the stomach, into the small intestine, and then it's going to go everywhere in the body. When people drink the water for about an hour or two, the hydrogen gas goes everywhere in the body and fixes and cleans and helps DNA from oxidative stress all the way down to a DNA level. It helps. That's going to happen for an hour or two, and then your body's going to breathe out the excess hydrogen that has not been used. So they need to be drinking it multiple times a day, just like you would have when you ate 3 times a day. You'd have hydrogen gas produced in the gut naturally. So several times a day, it's good to have it in your system. And then being that they have the machine and it doesn't cost them more every time they want to use it, having the machine right there in their kitchen, they can wash their face. They can wash their hands and their arms. They can wash legs. We have people that have growths on their legs and tumors and things that they have put and soaked in a 5-gallon bucket and didn't have to have an amputation like they were scheduled for. So there's tremendous things you can do. But when you have the machine, it's producing 0.5 gallon a minute coming out of it. And so you can have hydrogen water on demand whenever you want it for everyone in your household, children, especially autistic children and things of this nature. But people with arthritis, people with skin issues, this is going to be the greatest thing that they can experience and the least cost effective, because for literally $25 a month, $30 a month, they can have this installed in their home and be benefiting, which is less than bottled water. And unfortunately, bottled water has 24,500 harmful chemicals in it. So anyone drinking bottled water is going to get 24,500 harmful chemicals in their body that their body's got to get rid of. And it's horrible. So this machine will produce filtered water that is amazing tasting, clean, and hydrogen rich, so that they have the ability to get the benefits throughout their entire body. I would also say that they could wash their hair, and there's some other things that we can teach them in the ebook that we'll do, and how to do the skin care, how to use it for their skin, and we'll reference studies on the wrinkles, the sun damage, the UV rays and what have you from sunburn, and then we'll talk about the arthritis caused by the psoriasis and what have you. So those things we'll do along with we have some other skin studies that we'll do, but we'll have that all there for them. But to use it is very simple. It would be like anything else. People bathe in water every day. This would not be something they would do in a shower per se, because we can't produce that much water that fast. But they can put water in a bowl or in a larger bucket, and they can put it on their skin, and they're going to heal quickly. It's not something they're going to have to do the rest of their life. When they're drinking the right amount of water and hydrating their body with the water, and then also having hydrogen, they're going to see benefits within days of having that. But then being able to put it on the skin is going to be huge and greatly beneficial to them from a skin perspective as well, because again, If we can get that hydrogen right into the skin, collagen production occurs. And so it's very, very beneficial. So that's how they would use it, is drinking it and then putting it on the skin, just direct application.
Oh yes, of course. And so is there actually like, sorry, so would you actually say that they should drink more or less than they normally would with hydrogen-rich water, ordinary water?
Well, most people aren't drinking enough water to begin with, but you don't need to drink any more of this water than anything else. The proper rule of thumb for hydration would be half your body weight in ounces. So if someone weighed 100 pounds, they would drink 50 ounces a day. That would be a normal amount. If they're 150 pounds, then 75 ounces per day. And this is accepted by medical professionals across the world as an appropriate amount of water. From a hydration perspective, drinking that water is going to be very good for the lymphatic system and for the pancreatic system. But then getting the hydrogen into their system will help them innumerable ways. And it's hard to even talk about all the ways because, again, every single organ in the body is benefited. The brain is benefited. Every single system is benefited. Heart, cholesterol levels in the blood, and in the vessels and veins. So the reality is they're going to have many, many benefits. Energy level increase, sleeping, all kinds of things. But they'll be able to have all of those benefits every day because having the machine in their house, they'll have it for the rest of their life. The warranty covers it for the rest of their life. You know, it's installed for them. There's really no headaches that they have with it. And I designed the machine so that there's very little maintenance on it. They don't have to worry about that. All they'll have to do is every 1,000 gallons, they'll replace a filter for $100. It's really, really simple to do. And they can put it in themselves in 10 seconds. So it's very simple. The machine speaks to you in 10 languages and will tell you when it's time to change the filter. So it's really simple. Our machine goes either on the countertop or under the sink if they want an under sink version where they don't have to look at the machine. If they just want an elegant faucet on top of the counter, then we have that as well. Same machine, countertop or under sink, either way.
Okay, yeah. Had an itch there. Okay, so yeah, that's actually pretty amazing and very remarkable. So how many people would you say one machine serves?
As many as they want, really. We have doctors' offices that use our machines. We have a lot of chiropractic offices that use it with their patients to give the patients as much water as they want to take. And then, of course, the patients end up buying machines. It's a nice revenue generator for the office. We have many medical doctors, DOs, NDs, acupuncture, gyms. We have workout gyms that use our machines, and people are buying by the gallon, $2 a gallon for the water. Obviously, it's a lot less money to buy the machine, but sometimes they'll pay $2 a gallon. And so we have gyms, we have organic food stores, we have wellness facilities, we have supplement stores, we have all kinds of different places in 15 countries that have our water and either give it away to patients if it's a chiropractic office or sell it by the gallon if it's other type of retail stores and they're looking, to sell the water. And then once people get hooked on it, which is pretty quick because they feel the benefits right away within hours, then they want to get a machine. So it's very simple to do that, but we have many, many places that are using it. And so literally some places are filling by the gallon. The machine is almost constantly running. And so that's good. So one machine is definitely will handle a household, but also they have them in commercial locations. And we have some machines in organic food stores that are moving 1,500, 2,000 gallons a month through these machines. And so it can handle whatever people want to do.
Okay, that's great. And 1 second. That was like killing me for a little bit. Sorry. So yeah, that's actually very remarkable. It's amazing that the machine can work so well for so long and not need a replacement for even a month still, even after serving people like nonstop like that.
Yeah, it's all at 1,000 gallons. So the filter is the only thing that needs to be replaced. The machine itself, when you're in a commercial application like that, it's good to go through there's maintenance that's going to be more than in a home. In a home, it's every year or two that they'll need to do anything to it, like replacing the filters and stuff. In a commercial application where they're running thousands of gallons a month, they're going to be replacing filters on a monthly basis. And so that's fine. But it depends on how much water is flowing through it. It's designed for the filters to last 1,000 gallons, and so how long it takes to do that. If they have a family of 20, then they're going to go through filters faster. If there's a family of 2, it's going to be a lot longer.
Oh yes, of course, that makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Yes, and so for someone who's never had any type of symptoms, doesn't have any, issues, has perfect healthy skin, has perfect healthy everything. So they will still feel a lot of the amazing effects too. So that there would be which effects would you say that, they should look out for, that they'll be feeling first and most likely most?
That's a great question, Christine. Thank you for asking that. You're right. A lot of people are like, hey, I don't feel sick. I'm fine. What do I need this for? The reality is we want to keep you that way, right? We don't want you to get sick in any way. We don't want you to have less cognitive function. We don't want you to have less energy. We don't want you to have fatigue when you're working out. We want you to have no fatigue and be able to do and be what you want to be. So I would say, in answering that question, what the water is going to do for them is properly hydrate them with water that does not have pesticides, glyphosate, metals, all these things that are definitely in water that they're drinking, that their body's having to detoxify from. Having clean water coming in is good, and then getting the hydrogen in. Even someone who's healthy, I'll tell you a story, and I'll answer it from my own perspective. 15 years ago when I started drinking water, I was never sick. I'm one of those people that I've been blessed with a very strong constitution, as they say, or a very strong immune system. I'm rarely sick. I have energy all the time. I resonate at a high frequency naturally. That's just who I am. And even for me, I noticed after drinking the water a few weeks to a month or so, I noticed that I didn't require as much sleep. And I could burn the candle longer before I needed to go to sleep. And so for me, being, the busy person that I am, that's a benefit to me. And I feel my immune system is stronger. I am very rarely am I susceptible to things that other people are contracting, sicknesses and other things. And so I find that helps me. And I just love the taste of the water. It's a joy to drink the water. And I'll tell you, I laughing or jokingly say we create water snobs, because people fall in love with the way our water tastes, and then they don't want to go drink other water because they're like, oh, that's gross. And so a lot of people just like our water because it tastes better than any other water. I had one guy, he was like 83, and he said, oh my gosh, this tastes like the water when I was a kid in Tennessee, right in the mountains. It was coming down out of the mountain. This is what it tasted like. And I was like, all right, we did it. But that's what people say. They love the taste. And my favorite thing on earth is when the mothers say to me, my teenager isn't drinking Coke anymore. He's drinking water from your machine because he likes the taste of that better and he feels better. I know that we've done something great when we've accomplished that.
Yes, that's very remarkable and very amazing. That's definitely something that is to be proud of very much.
Yeah, we can get them off of sodas. That's huge. So
yeah.
That's what I would say. It's going to help everyone, not just people. And people need to remember their pets, because a lot of times pets have the worst food and they have arthritis too early, because unfortunately 60% of their food is carbohydrates and sugar. It would be like us eating chips all the time. That's effectively what dogs get. And you will never find a dog in the wild eating kibble, right? They're an obligate carnivore. So animals eat living things. That's what they do. And so giving them some kibble makes no sense. And unfortunately, when we do this, that kibble is 60% sugar and carbohydrates. And so we end up having animals that are hurting all the time, but they can't speak English and tell us all the time, hey, I'm hurting in my lower back or whatever. And so I can tell you, giving them the water will detoxify them and extend their life significantly. We have so many veterinarian hospitals that use our water for their cancer pets, because 50% of animals now are getting cancer because of the kibble. And so unfortunately, we have to tell the pet owners, hey, give them this water with hydrogen, and it will also lower the inflammation of the dog, the detoxification of the dog, increase energy, clear out their eyes, their skin issues. All of these same issues that people suffer from, animals suffer for far more because they have even worse food than we do.
Oh yes, that's really, yeah, that's very concerning. So it's actually amazing that it can do so much for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to educate people and give them something to think about.
Oh yes, of course. It's definitely something that is very useful information and something that I hope will help out many out there in the long run as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it will.
Yeah. So one second here. Yeah. For a while too. It's like every single time, it's just like, something's killing me. It's like, hold it for a while.
You're doing good holding it though.
Oh
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Doing my best, as much as I can because I know I have to.
Right.
Doing this, so, I do my best, but it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, now it's like, oh, I need to feel it.
Right.
It's one of those things. But yes, back to the interview. So I think that it's a wonderful thing that you're doing with this hydrogen enriched water and that it can do so much to help so many. But like, would it also be available as a substitute for some of these things that you're mentioning? Could it actually, since it's actually helping to reverse some of the damage that's being created, would it even work to still help it that, like for example, with the pets and the kibble, like, if they don't change the pet's diet, would that still actually, help the animal in the long run that it, because it reverses some of that damage?
Absolutely. And that's good. You're right. Not all individuals are compliant, right? Not all individuals are going to stop doing the things that are damaging them. And the good news is drinking water with the hydrogen in it will help them tremendously, even if they don't change their behaviors. They're still going to see significant help with their skin. We also have many people that say within the first week or so they lose, anywhere from 3 to 8 pounds in the first week because the inflammation goes down and the body's processing toxins and things that are inside. So they are going to have a benefit, that's for sure. If they drink the right amount of water and they continue doing what they're doing, they're going to be doing less damage to themselves and to their pets. So yes, that is a good thing to do, because I'm not one of these people that if I'm not perfect, I'm not going to do anything. But a lot of people think that way. If I'm not perfect, I'm not going to do anything. Everything's ruined if I'm not perfect. That's not truth. It's like walking around the block twice a week versus none is a big difference. Exercising once a week versus never is a big difference. Sleeping 8 hours one night a week is better than none at all. Everything that we do to give our body the benefit is going to have a huge benefit for people. And that's what we need to understand is we do the best we can. We don't, beat ourselves up because we're not perfect all the time. The one thing I will tell you is that drinking this water, Eco Hydrogen Enriched Water, will help you regardless of what you do. It will help your body because the hydrogen gas is going into the body and will do what hydrogen gas will do. Regardless if what you're doing in your lifestyle, hydrogen gas will lower inflammation and help with oxidative stress. And there's nothing you can do to stop that process.
Oh yes, that's great. And it's definitely amazing to learn and to understand and know about. And so, we mentioned before about like how, you're turning the water, a little bit of it into gas, and hydrogen is, the small gas molecule. Yeah. And so, is there any worries about how, like, if you pour the water into a glass, so to speak, that all the hydrogen will come out after a certain amount of time?
Well, that's an excellent question. Hydrogen being tiny, right? We talked about how tiny hydrogen was. If you put it in a glass, you really have 4 to 5 hours, 6 hours before you have what's called a half-life. So you will start losing, just like a soda, right? Will lose carbon dioxide. Hydrogen is even so small compared to carbon dioxide. So it will go out of the glass little by little. And you really, like I said, you have 5 hours before you've lost half of it. So most people drink a glass pretty quickly. Now, when you have a bottle with a closed lid, if you were to fill up a 20-ounce bottle or a 1-gallon container, and you keep the lid on it and no airspace in the top, you will have that hydrogen gas up to 10 to 15 days. So once you contain it like that, it will eventually go through the container because it's so small. It can go through glass and stainless steel and plastic, but it takes a while to do that. So people can take water to work. They can carry it in the car with them. They can take a sport bottle with them for the day and still get the hydrogen during the day. Absolutely. We also have tablets and drops that allow people to travel and still have hydrogen water, because you just put the drops in the water. If they do get a nice glass Voss water, for instance, they can put the drops in there and create hydrogen. But most people so the machine is sufficient for them to give them hydrogen during the day, and then when they get back home, they would have it again. So.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely good, helpful advice for people to learn, because I'm sure that's something that they had as a concern as well.
Sure.
Yes.
Very good questions, absolutely, on the everyday use, because people are going to ask the questions. They do ask those questions. How long does it last? And the same is true. We've talked about pets. We need to understand that water bowls for animals, once they put it down, they're only an inch or so of water, and you have a large surface area. So just refresh the water every 2 or 3 times a day, and you'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, when it's a large surface area, it should go by faster, wouldn't it?
That's right. Yeah. So when you put the water down, when it's fresh, the dog or animal is going to come over and drink that right away. And then you can refresh it later, and they're going to come and do the same thing, because we also have 412 energy and frequencies in the water, very love-based energies. And so, we call them intrinsic energies, but the animals are very attracted to that as well. So they will go to that instinctively.
Oh, yeah, of course. So, I'm assuming the animals actually love the water more than ordinary water as well.
For sure. We used to have fun making videos. We'd put 2 bowls down, and we would watch the animals come running to the Echo water versus the tap water, bottled water, whatever else. They always go to our water. Yeah, they know. They have good noses.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some, signs and symptoms that you would say? I mean, I know that you said it would help everyone, but are there certain types of specific people that you would say it would help them most of all?
Well, unfortunately, most all diseases, the root cause is oxidative stress and inflammation. And the water will help everyone in that case. But the people that I find that it helps the fastest are those that have significant gut damage. Those that have gut damage right away will start to feel it within minutes. We've also had individuals with Parkinson's, neurologic issues, that within 20 minutes their hand is still when before it was shaking really bad, for tremors. These kind of individuals, it will help tremendously. Athletes, people that are long distance runners or weightlifters or just basketball players, football players, if they drink, we have a study with soccer players, but if they drink the water a half an hour before they play, they won't fatigue because it stops the lactate buildup in the muscles. So these are the kinds of individuals that will notice it very quickly, and that's athletes, that's people with gut damage, people that have some food allergies and things of this nature, people that have significant skin issues. It's an outward sign that something's very wrong inside. They will also notice huge differences. People that have kidney and liver pain and issues, they'll see within a few days, they'll start to have recovery, and typically they'll have a little bit of pain in the beginning because it's really helping the inflammation, and then shortly after that they'll start having deliverance, and so that's a wonderful thing. But those I would say are pretty safe. Diabetes, another big one. Typically within a few days they'll see some shifts in having lower blood glucose levels.
Yeah, would you say that this kind of water actually would help some of those people to go back to normal the way they used to be, or is that just not possible?
Oh yeah, no. Many people end up going back. It's a reparative thing. Even like rheumatoid arthritis, and the study that they did on rheumatoid arthritis, it actually fixed the articulation of the joint. It didn't just band-aid it to mask the pain. it actually helped the oxidative stress that was in the joint, and so therefore they didn't have rheumatoid arthritis anymore. So same is true for people with some diseases, even diabetes and cancer. We have studies on those things. We can't guarantee anybody it's going to help them because everyone is so unique and so different. But we do have studies showing benefits, and so I would encourage people to try. It's a lot better than being sick.
Yes, of course, definitely. So, tell us, how does your Echo H2 machine work?
So you just connect it to the water supply, whether it's well water, tap water, what have you. You connect it to the water supply. Water comes into the machine, filters it first, then goes through the hydrogen chamber, and out it comes with hydrogen gas dissolved in the water. You can either go up and push a button. It's all a touch screen. It's a 7-inch color touch screen. You can go and touch what type of water, because it makes different types of water, not just drinking water. The Ultra machine also makes disinfectant water, which has hypochlorous acid that will kill E. coli, Salmonella, MRSA, and staph on contact. So it's very good for skin, acne issues, and other things. The hypochlorous acid water, when people wash their face, oh my gosh, their skin is gorgeous when they're done. Sunspots can start to go away. People that have colored hair, if they rinse their hair in the acid water with hypochlorous acid, it's like putting a really high-end conditioner on, like a K-Pack, if you remember years ago, those K-Packs. But the reality is the acid water is very good for countertops, skin, brushing teeth, your eyes. If you have pink eye or blepharitis, that's gone right away. So the machine has multiple uses for cleaning counters, for cleaning vegetables, fruits, lettuce, meat, poultry, fish, all of these things. It kills bacteria and will lengthen the life of the food. Also, having the drinking water, which is everything we've talked about until now, is hugely beneficial for people. So the Echo Ultra machine, that makes 3 different types of water. One for drinking, one for cleaning dirt, and one for disinfecting bacteria, E. coli, and things like this. The other machine, the Echo H2 machine, that produces just the drinking water. So it's less expensive, but it's only producing one type of water so that people have health improvement. And both machines can be used countertop or under sink. Both installation is included. We have hundreds of installers in the US alone, and Canada and UK and Germany. And so, we have that for people. But and both machines have the same filtration, and you still have to replace it in 1,000 gallons. But that's how it functions. It first goes through a filtration mechanism, then it goes through a very proprietary electrolysis chamber that doesn't split the water. It keeps it together for the drinking water, so we don't change pH. We just put hydrogen in it.
Okay, yeah, that's actually pretty amazing. And so, how much of the water is turned into hydrogen?
Well, when you're choosing the hydrogen water, all of the water coming out of the machine has hydrogen gas dissolved in it. So you have liquid water coming out, and then you also have little tiny nanobubbles that are in it that you can see. But in the water, dissolved in the water, is around 1 to 1.5, maybe 2 parts per million of hydrogen. Anything over 0.5 parts per million is considered therapeutic. So the fact that we're doing 1 part, 1.5, 2 parts, we're at 3 to 4 times the therapeutic concentration, and so it's plenty for people to drink. You can't get hurt by hydrogen. There's no overdosing effect. There's no negatives. People, scuba divers have been using hydrogen for many years in those tanks to stop the bends, so that's not an issue. But we do have plenty of hydrogen in the water so that people can get the benefits that we're talking about.
Okay, that sounds pretty amazing and very remarkable, and definitely very good information for everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell us, what are you most proud of from 2017?
2017, what am I most proud of? Well, the thing I'm most proud of is every day being a better husband and a better father. That's for sure. That's what I'm most proud of, is making sure that I'm the best father and husband that I can ever be, period. That's what I'm most proud of. But 2017 was an exciting year, with some wonderful lectures that I did across the world and being on television. So last year was the first time I was on television in US, Germany, and Switzerland, all talking about molecular hydrogen. And so that was very exciting for me. And, that was awesome.
Oh yes, that's pretty, that sounds very exciting.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, what are you most excited about for 2018?
Well, 2018, we're opening up a second facility on the west coast of the US. So we'll have an East Coast and West Coast location. Our main focus this year is going to be bringing more chiropractic offices as we are doing. Also, we are growing rapidly in UK. And so we, from London to Scotland and all the way through. So very excited. We also have new products coming out, from things that will help people to detoxify, people that will help them with all kinds of different inflammation and other things we're coming out with. So just continuing to support individuals where they need to be supported and how they need to be supported, and making sure that we make it easier for them to understand how this can benefit them. We make it easier for them to facilitate it into their personal lives so they can enjoy it and experience it. And that's what we're all about, is always bettering ourselves, the company, the culture, the products. Where we are going right now through improvements. I'm constantly improving, because I'm never happy with what we're doing. I always want to make it better, right?
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, that's very good. And so please tell us about your free gift.
So the free gift that I want to do, we have an ebook that will be very specifically created to talk about skin benefits, so that they will be able to understand the things that we talked about, how to help your skin glow, right? But how to improve health, how to improve wellness in general. But the gift that we're going to give is a nice ebook, multi-page ebook, that will have not only basic understandings of what we talked about, but also how to utilize to get the appropriate skin health that you want. And then in the back of the ebook, we'll have multiple studies showing the things that we talked about in this. So they'll be able to really get educated and understand the benefits of having hydrogen in their life as it relates to skin.
Oh yes, that's a very good knowledge, because it's what we all want to learn. We're all here to learn more about how hydrogen and water definitely helps with the skin.
Absolutely. And skin is our biggest organ, so it definitely will help. And I'm excited for people to read it. I'm excited for people to get educated and to do something about that education, right? To help themselves.
Yes, I'm very excited to know more about that too. Yes, so that's all the time we have today here at the Glowing Skin. So thank you so much for being here, Paul.
Thank you so much, Christine. It's an honor to be with you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an honor to be with you too. And so please opt in to receive more information about the next Glowing Skin series with the next guest. And yeah, please tune in tomorrow as man, so out of it today.
Okay.
Yeah, but please tune in tomorrow with the next guest, and we'll see you next time. So bye. So, yeah. But yeah, I was going to ask, so I did mention to you before at the phone call about that I wanted to be able to do a video and a written review of your products.
Yep.
So I wasn't sure, because you said the hydration system was like $2,000. So, I figured I couldn't try that one. But there is something that I could try to make a review on.
Yeah, so we have two machines. One's 2,200 and one is 3,000. And again, we do the monthly payments where people can do the monthly payments. But to help you with hydrogen, we of course have tablets, and we have other ways, like we talked about, to get it into you so you can feel the difference. We have tablets, we have drops that you can do, and of course I'd be happy to send that to you. But also, I was telling you, if you, when we get to the point where you can promote, then you'll have a machine quickly, because even after just a few people purchase, you'll have one. I'll send one to you. It's no problem. And then after that, there will be great commissions that can come your way. So, I don't know how big your list is already, or if you're looking to build this list while you produce this. And if
Oh,
that's, yeah,
I'm building this list as I'm producing this.
got it, got it. Yeah, so as it gets bigger and bigger, you'll be able to have more and more commission coming, but definitely would want you to have a system, and you'll be able to feel the difference. You live in what part of Texas?
Houston.
Ah, okay. I'm trying to think what we have there. We've got family there, but I'm trying to think where is a place I could send you in Houston to get some water. But anyways, we'll figure it out. Like I said, you'll be amazed at even just going on Facebook and talking about our filtration system and talking about how you learned hydrogen can help with all these things. You might get interest. It's pretty easy to get people. Water is a very polarizing topic. It's a very passionate topic where people are very interested in having good water and good tasting water. That's for
Oh, yeah,
sure.
of course. Yeah, so that is something that I definitely will want to have as soon as I, manage to get enough commission, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, is there a way that you can keep track of like which ones come from, my list?
Absolutely. Yeah, we with our new software goes live in the matter of a week or two, and it'll tag everything. But our current system is a Post Affiliate Pro. We use Post Affiliate Pro on our site, but we're changing to a full custom software that's running the whole company, that has drip campaigns. It has everything's automated. You could go in and log in and process orders for people if you were on the phone with someone, and you can log in and see all your commissions, all your transactions, and everything that's coming your way. So absolutely, we spent money on having a custom system written to manage the entire company, and so it's a very robust system that will manage all commissions and automatically direct deposit
Oh, yeah.
into. Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be perfect because yeah, that'll definitely help me out with, everything and also being able
Yeah.
to afford this too.
Right. So what do you do before you did this? What did you do?
Oh, well, actually, so yeah, I kind of hate to admit this, but honestly, it's just more or less I actually had very severe depression. It's really,
Okay.
really, so it actually hindered my ability to keep down a full-time job for very long.
Uh-huh.
So mostly this is kind of my way of working to try to, create some revenue in a proper way that I could actually still, be able to do a job and, actually one day hopefully get some revenue as well.
Well, that's another thing we didn't even talk about, but anxiety, depression, hydrogen is significant. Bipolar, schizophrenia, we have studies on the fact that hydrogen helps bipolar and schizophrenia, anxiety, depression. We literally have people that were on heavy duty medications that are no longer on medications for depression because they drank the water. But this understand that the gut, it's still part of gut recovery because the bacteria in the gut have everything to do with depression. And so getting the hydrogen into your system may help you. So I'll tell you what, I'll definitely send you a tube of the drops and the tablets so you can start putting it in your water, so you could then talk about it, because that would be more powerful even than skin. Talking about the fact that you had depression that was debilitating, and oh my gosh, I can feel a difference with this. People would be very interested in that because a lot of people suffer from depression and anxiety more than they care to admit.
Yeah, no, that was something that was really hard on me because of the fact that mine was so bad. It was, I couldn't do anything for a very long time. So, mine was, yeah, like, to where some people say, oh yeah, people with depression, all they need is like running shoes and fresh air. It's like, yeah, I tried that. It didn't
Yeah,
work.
right. I ran away. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
it's kind of,
no, yeah,
yeah.
exercise can help, but sometimes, there are significant issues going on. So how did you get help? Are you still battling it a little bit?
I'm still battling it a lot. So honestly, I actually, one of the great things about it is that here in Houston, well, here in Texas, actually, and maybe it's also my county of Texas, where they actually have an incredibly good program to help people who have low income in order to be able to receive the help that they need. And
Nice.
so I've been very fortunate with that because, I mean, it does still cost me money, but it's not, as bad as it would ordinarily be, if I
Sure, sure.
trying to seek help otherwise. And because, yeah, it is, very expensive. And so, it is true. I do have to be very heavily medicated. So it's one of those things to where, if I don't do that, I don't function properly. So
Got it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how the hydrogen helps. It may or may not. I think it might though. And so that would be very good. You'll have to send me your address and we'll get some stuff sent out to you.
Yeah, definitely. So that would be so great. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I'm excited to see how this goes and how it does. And that's awesome. Good for you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So yes, I'm excited to try to see what I can do out of it too, because, it'll be helpful to, finally be able to survive in a way and not have to depend on anyone anymore.
Sure. Well, you'll always have to depend on somebody.
Oh, yeah, but not depend as much as.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, so that is kind of one of the things that I've, realized about myself, especially with how all of it's happened. And so it was kind of like, oh, because I can't really make a good life for myself right now until, I can work around it.
Sure. Sure. Well, you are loved.
Oh,
Know
yeah,
that. Know that. And everyone has a process. Everything in life is a process and a pathway for you to understand you.